Namaste. Jai Shri Ram. Let me tell you the history of Rameswaram. After making friends with Sri Sugriva through the meditation of Sri Anjaneya, Sri Rama sends Sri Hanuman in search of Sri Sita Devi. Accordingly, Sri Hanuman proceeds to Sri Lanka, finds Sri Sita and delivers the message of Sri Rama and brings back her head ornament to his master, Sri Rama. Having learnt about the whereabouts of Sri Sita, Sri Rama decides to proceed to Sri Lanka. He sits at Darbasayanam in meditation, praying to the god of ocean to make way a night with the delay. He takes the bow and gets ready to dart the arrow against Samudra Raja. The king of ocean surrenders and shows the way for the construction of bridge. While Sri Rama is busy supervising the construction of the bridge, he noticed a squirrel wetting its body, then rolling in sand and taking the sticking sand to be added to the bridge under construction. While Sri Anjaneya and his Vanaras are engaged in the constructions of the bridge, the squirrel contributes its share in the construction. Though a little, Sri Rama blesses the squirrel by touching on its back, by forming 3 streaks. After the bridge was constructed, Sri Rama, Sri Lakshmana and Sri Anjaneya reached Sri Lanka. Seated in the chariot of Indra and armored by the Aditya Hridaya mantra of Agastya, Sri Rama kills and succeeds Ravana with his Brahmastra. Having vanquished Ravana, Sri Rama crowns Sri Vibhishana as the king of Sri Lanka. Later, Sri Rama reached Gantamatanam or Rameswaram with Sri Sita, Sri Lakshmana and Sri Anjaneya in a swan-shaped Vimanam. At Rameswaram, Sri Rama was praised by Rishi Agastya and other saints who had come from Dandakarunyam. He asked Sri Agastya to suggest him a way to get rid of Brahmahatya dosham, which he has incurred by killing Ravana. Sri Agastya suggests that he could escape the evil effects of the dosham if he installs and worships a Shivalingam on that spot. According to the suggestion made by Sri Agastya, Sri Rama decided to perform Shiva Puja. He orders Sri Anjaneya to go to Kailasam and bring Shivalinga. Sri Rama and Sri Lakshmana watched Sri Sita playfully making a Shivalingam out of sand. Anjaneya, who had gone to Kailasam to bring Shivalingam, has not yet returned even after a long time. As it was the auspicious time for puja, Sri Agastya tells Sri Rama to perform puja to the Shivalingam made out of sand by Sri Sita. Sitting by the side of the Shivalingam, which was made by Sri Sita out of sand, Sri Rama performs puja according to Agama tradition in order to get rid of Brahmahatya dosham. Lord Shiva, with his consort Uma Devi, appeared in the sky and proclaimed that those who take bath in Dhanushkodi and pray the Shivalingam would be purified from all sins and they will get Progansi or Shantika Pakiyam since Sri Rama has performed puja. The Shivalingam is called Ramalingam. The deity there is Sri Ramananda Swami and this place is called Rameswaram. Unable to meet Lord Shiva at Kailasam, Sri Anjaneya does penance there and then obtains 2 Shivalingams from Lord Shiva. After explaining the purpose of his mission, Sri Anjaneya flies to Rameswaram, which was popularly known as Kantamatanam, carrying the 2 Shivalingams obtained from Lord Shiva. After reaching Rameswaram, Sri Anjaneya found that Sri Rama had already performed his puja to that sand Shivalingam, and he feels very much about his delay. He was disappointed because his Shivalingam was not worshipped by Sri Rama. Sri Rama tries his best to console him and asks Sri Anjaneya to try his best to remove the Shivalingam, which was made of sand, and install the Shivalingam brought by him if he can. Unable to remove the sand lingam by his hands, Sri Anjaneya tries to pull it out with his mighty tail. Failing in all his attempts, he feels the divinity of Shivalingam made of sand by Sri Sita. Sri Rama asks Sri Anjaneya to place the Vishwanantha Lingam on the northern side of Ramalingam. He also ordains that the people should worship Ramalingam only after worshipping the lingam brought and installed by Sri Anjaneya from Kailas. The other lingam is placed for worship near the Sri Anjaneya deity at the entrance. Even today, the same procedure is followed. Thank you everyone and Jai Shri Ram.